Mm, Welcome to another short video. In this video, we are going to talk about server profiles in Palo Alto Firewall. So in order to look at those profiles, we need to go in Device tab in our Palo Alto Firewall. And on the Device tab on the left-hand side, at the bottom, you see these options under the server profiles, SNMP Trap, SYSLOG, email, HTTP, and many others. So what are these server profiles? These server profiles really defines the connectivity, basically the information which is needed for the connectivity to the servers by the Palo Alto firewall. And then these profiles are further used within many other settings on the Palo Alto firewall. So let's look into one of these server profiles. Let's first look at the SNMP Trap one. In this video, we'll talk about SNMP Trap, syslog, email, HTTP, and we can see these net flow radius. SCP TechX plus LDAP as well, but if the time permits. My aim is to get you have up and running with the LDAP in this video and then check the others. Let's look at the SNMP trap one. So suppose I want to configure a server which to which firewall has to send the traps in certain scenarios. So let's create a trap server. So I can just type trap server and then I need to give it a name. I can say SNMP trap, sorry, trap, and then SNMP manager. That should be the IP address. So let's give it IP address. Okay, and what's the community? Okay, so the community, if you are using V2C, then you use the communities. If you are using V3, then it changes to user ID, passwords, and rest of the features. So let's put a community here. Suppose I will put community Palo Alto, and I can add multiple trap servers. That's fine. Okay, so that's how you add a trap server. Look at how to add a syslog server. Go to syslog, click on add, and then let's click here syslog and then select the server. So I will say syslog, and then what's the IP address of the syslog server? You put the IP address here, transport, select the transport protocol, TCP, UDP, or if you are using encrypted TCP, encrypted way to send the syslogs to the other host, then you select that SSL1. UDP by default is the transport is UDP for the syslog and the port is 514. And format I'm going to keep BSD and log facility. This facility you should choose as per what your server uses. So usually, most of the servers go for log underscore local 7. I'll choose that one. And then, yep, if you want to, in what format you want to send them the config logs. So if you click on there, then you can choose the respective field which you want to send them. Like if I choose device name, the device name will only be sent. And I'm going to keep it as default, send the default format of the log to them. Of if these logs are being sent to this server, then their default formats will be sent. If I can click on any log, then I can definitely choose what values to be sent to the syslog server. And yeah, what is the escape character in certain scenarios? It's very important to mention escape character. Otherwise, might be that server is not able to you know properly read the logs. I'm gonna keep it default. Go to servers and just create it. Okay, we have created a syslog server. Now let's look at and create an email server profile. So email server profile is really used when you would like to send an email and verify logs via the email, or either you want to use it in reports or something to send the email. So let's click in let's see name. I can say name is email server, and then display name. What will be the display name? Okay, I say it's my no reply will be the name. From, what is the email address, from field in the whatever the emails will be sent. So no reply at the rate shivam dot local. To whom you need to send? Let's say I want to send it to mm, I want to send it to security department@shivam.local. Additional recipient, if you have any additional recipients. Email gateway, let's see, smtp.shivam.local, and it listens on port 25. And yeah, that's it. And then if you want to use the TLS based settings, then you have to specify what TLS version, what authentication method, auto login or plain text, and then the certificate profile if you want to specify one, and then the username and password in order to authenticate yourself. I'm going to use unauthenticated SMT. This is my local server, and then I hit OK, and then I'll say here email server. Yep, that's how you create an email server profile to be used. And then let's create a HTTP profile. So in order to firewall to connect to certain servers, you create this profile. So let's say HTTP server, and then under the payload format you can define basically again the logs, what format it will go. So predefined formats, there are ServiceNow incident, ServiceNow security incident formats are already there. You can also define HTTP headers and the you know their values, and also the parameters, and what will be the URI format, and really what will be the payload. Now instead, let's just define a server name. I would say HTTP. Define an address. I'm gonna say 192.168.253.159. I'm gonna use HTTP, not the HTTPS. It's port 80, not TLS. Yeah, I want to send it via the post. And then the username and password. Yeah, let's give it a username. I will say admin. Password. I'll say admin. Admin. Yep. I'm not going to test the connection. I'm just going to hit OK. So that's how you create a HTTP. So these top four, SNMP, SYSLOG, email, and HTTP, they can be used by firewall to send various logs to the respective servers. If you see just above the server profiles, there is an option log settings. If I click on there, let me show you. So you see system, configuration, user ID, all these sections you see. But if you click on any of the section and click on add, so in order to send the system logs, what the forwarding methods you have, either SNMP, either you can send them in the form of SNMP traps, either via the email, either through the HTTP, or either to the syslog. That's why I showed those four only. Every log section, system logs, configuration logs, user ID related logs, hip match logs, global protect logs, all the logs can be sent only via those four ways to the external system. Now let's look at, I can also show you NetFlow, Radius, SCP, TechX Plus, but let's go jump on to the LDAP one. That's very important. We see it multiple times to be used. I'll say LDAP. My server is already running. If I check on administrator use only, then this server can be only used to authenticate the administrators. I'll type here LDAP, and what's my server? 192.168.253.50. That's my server. Yep. And yeah, what's the type? I have Active Directory server. What's my base DN? DC equal to Shivam, comma, DC equal to local. That's my base DN. And now what's my bind DN? As a CN equal to sorry, I mistyped it. Administrator. Yep, comma, CN equal to users, comma, I need to mention this thing. So I'll just copy and paste it. Save the time. Sorry, it took even more time. Password for this account, which I have mentioned in the bind DN. Yep. Yep. I'm not gonna use SSL TLS. That's it. I'm just gonna hit OK. Yep. Perfect. And now I will go on to the. Let me show you something. How can I really test this connectivity to this server is? I'll talk about that later, but let's go into the user identification section and the group mapping settings. Click on add. Let's select the server profile. I'm selecting LDAP, and then I need to see, yep, you can see here. You can see I'm able to browse through my server. I can see all the users created in there and also the groups. This is a group port quiz access. I think I'm under the users, under the users section. There are certain groups, so I can see the groups, and this means I'm successfully able to browse my LDAP server. Yep, so that's how you create a LDAP server profile. and SNMP trap profile, syslog, email, HTTP. And yep, I talked about server profiles because our next topic is going to be policies. And in policies, there is a place where you configure a log forwarding profile in order to send the logs of the traffic that it's to it to external server. Under the actions, you see this log forwarding field. Yeah, when we talk about it, you should already be aware about the server profiles. And while we do create server profiles, then what interface firewall is gonna use to reach to us, that's all defined in the service route configuration. Absolutely right. If you thought about that already. So in the service route configuration, you define what interface firewall will use to go to the syslog server or to the SNMP trap server. You know, so that's it about this video. Also, just to mention SAML IDP, this we already discussed in the bonus lecture where we discussed, how do we authenticate administrators to our firewall via the SAML. So this all we already discussed. And yep, that's it about this video. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.